Hello, my name is Nicholas Langston, and this is my presentation, Utopia and Dystopia, that will discuss the film The Avatar and its associations to the sci-fi genre. The Avatar is a film written and directed by James Cameron in 2009. It is about a disabled ex-Marine vet, Jake Sully, who was injured on duty and is now a paraplegic confined to a wheelchair. Jake realizes that the cost for him to walk again is not covered by his VA benefits, which leaves him a little disgruntled and willing to fight against the system. He is soon after recruited by the RDA, a non-governmental organization that operates in space, whose power, wealth, political influence, military military capability is thought of to outmatch most of Earth's governments. Jake was used to replace his brother on a mission in a with a group of scientists that use hybrid alien bodies to gather intel on the Navi people from the planet Pandora in efforts to harvest the valuable mineral resource unobtainium. Initially, he was sent to betray the Navi people for a chance to walk again. However, Jake ends up falling in love with one of the Navi chief's daughter and becomes one of them, ultimately saving them and their home from destruction and excavation. The film, when created, used a unique fusion camera system to shoot in 3D. This system involved two high-definition cameras working together to create 3D images. The film also required shooting live-action scenes that were combined with computer-generated images. Its estimated budget was $237 million, and the film raked in an estimated $2.9 billion, becoming one of the highest-grossing films of all time. The film qualifies under the sci-fi genre as it employs several of the tropes and semantics used within the genre. It involves space travel, it incorporates aliens, it employs space labs, utilizes highly advanced technology, and reflects a dystopian utopian backdrop. To reach Pandora, for instance, they use cryogenic chambers on on the space base. The RDA uses incubators to grow Navi avatars and connect them mentally to humans using pods called link units. Other highly technological equipment monitors the planet and surveys sites to mine unobtainium. This reflects how business, greed, and exploitation transforms a utopian environment into a dystopian one. The film presents strong capitalistic and Marxist statements that revolve around why the RDA is interested in the planet and the way of life of the Navi people in the first place, which basically is to harvest unobtainium worth 20 million per kilo. This hints metaphorically at the cobalt mine in the Democratic Republic of Congo in Africa, which has the largest cobalt reserves in the world at some 3.5 million metric tons as of 2021. Despite not being worth as much, the growing popularity of vehicles fuels the demand for cobalt, which continues to increase. It is predicted that demand will outstrip supply, thus increase prices. Africa is a mineral-rich continent home to indigenous people and coincides with the many references made about the Navi people, like references to them referred to as being savages, mud lovers, and monkeys, reminiscent of metaphors used to describe the native people of Africa by occupying factions in the past. The film also draws significant allegorical references to the War on Terror, occurring less than 10 years prior to the production of the film The Avatar. This is a war that involved the US, Iraq, the Middle East, and Afghanistan, places also known to be mineral rich, in this case with oil. Gender representation in the Avatar are primarily male, masculine, and patriarchal. Parker Selfridge, the executive admin person for RDA, is spearheading the operation with Colonel Miles Quadrich providing the military muscle. The contrast, however, on Pandora is a strong feminist one, represented by characters such as Natari, who is a warrior princess and on several occasions used to save Jack Sully from his own death, and her mother, Moat, who is a spiritual leader and interpreter for the Iowa or Tree of Souls, which also has a motherly reference. Other female characters like Trudy, the military helicopter pilot, and Dr. Grace, head of the science department, who also represents feminist tropes as they are employed in roles of agency, such as soldiers or doctors on the base, and are not sexualized. Dr. Grace is skilled. She makes hard, unsentimental decisions. She is firm and a humane leader. Also, she exemplifies a motherly role to Jake, having him to forcing him to do things like eat and get ample rest between sessions, connecting with his avatar. For representations of sexuality, this film references nuclear families and monogamous partnerships. Jake and Terry are the only characters that share any degree of intimacy, reflecting heterosexual exophilia relations, because Jake is technically still human, but mentally having an intimate encounter with an alien. They use their hair tentacles to consummate their relationship, and their bonds are for life. This process seems to occur once a Navi male is declared a man, and at which point he can choose to have a wife. The representation of race is contrasted by a primarily homogeneous white representation on the base against a heavy heterogeneous ethnic other presence on Pandora. The Navi people are depicted as tribal indigenous people threatened by the supremacy of the white race, who use technological sophistication to level the playing field. There are no black characters in the film, and on the base, most non-white characters are represented as East Indian or Latino, in which there are only a few. Class representation revolves around the RDA, symbolized as the upper controlling class, and the Navi people portraying the subversive lower class. The Navi people live as hunter-gatherers, surviving off the land without the presence of money. This creates an equalitarian society suffering from proletariat exploitation. On the base, however, the military and corporate organizational structures take precedence, and everyone follows a sort of rank and file order under uniformity. The film reflects how advanced computer technology extends human capability, allowing humans to bond and control hybrid transhuman bred avatars mentally that are genetically engineered and grown in amino tanks. Other types of equipment include amplified mobility platform suits that humans use for combat and to complete complex tasks, as well as an ambient room that allows humans and the Navi humanoids to interact while avatars breathe Pandorian air and humans wear exopacks in a shared work environment. The Avatar had a tremendous initial impact, earning as much as $2.9 billion in box office sales. However, this excitement fizzled, and no fanfare was really established after the film's release, despite Disney's creation of a theme park after the film and a plethora of toys, books, comics, and video games. Items really sought after only by enthusiasts, and those in which case, again, it proves that the film failed to garner any real type of notoriety, such as what's expected from a film that's the highest grossing to date. There is a stage adaptation that's inspired by the film, and despite extended delays, a sequel is planned for release on December 16th of this year, 2022, entitled Avatar: Way of the Water, with three other versions planned to be released soon after. As for the Avatar's canon, the film was 100% original, a work of James Cameron himself, with only some of its concepts and elements borrowed from other works. As I stated earlier, the film does not have a huge fan base, but does have a fandom.com community of about 1,700 contributors that detail and categorize everything you could want to know about the film. Overall, I think it's a very insightful and entertaining film, and I look forward to watching the sequels. Thank you for listening to my presentation.